Hey, another day, another drive. Hello, everybody. It's Friday, where I am. Happy Friday, in this space and time. The thing I'm thinking about today is disclosure. I just finished listening to the new Lou Elizondo book, and it was a great book. Not too much in terms of bombshells, so to speak, a couple, but really a explanation of his path to where we are now, and really a substantial role in making changing the conversation and getting disclosure. And I say that where people keep saying that, where's the disclosure? They're still waiting for it. It's already happened. The government's already admitted and released officially that they've been reverse engineering UAP. That's admitted. And so I know people want aliens to land on the White House lawn, and that's when they'll believe it, or the president to come out and give a speech, and that's when they'll believe it. But I don't think that's going to happen. At least not without I don't think that's going to happen. So it's a very interesting thought that people want something, they'll believe, they don't trust the government. So I don't think that's going to happen. It's very interesting that, the kind of double-edged sword of the government. People don't want to trust the government. People in this field tend to be very conspiracy-oriented, and I'll admit I am too. But at the same time, they want the government to announce this. I think that comes down to just this is such a big deal, and it flies in such direct opposition to everything we've been taught, everything that has been discussed up to this point. And all the official channels, all the times the president or someone in government, the Pentagon, has scoffed at the concept of non-human intelligence or UFOs, the times that they've directly discredited people who shared their experience, the times that it's been made light of. There's a lot of ill will there, and I think people who are interested in the subject want to see that amends. They want to see the government make amends. And I'm just afraid it's not really going to happen. I make the case that I don't think we need the government to be involved in this. I think this can be something that we kind of move past the government, if that makes sense. I think there's such a bigger movement here and a bigger venue that's at stake. The government doesn't control disclosure. Disclosure is a human thing. So I try and look at it that way. To that end, I've had these discussions with my parents who are they're around 70 and grew up in the heart of the space race, the space craze. And I don't think, even up to 5 months ago, really thought that this was real. And I showed them the first episode of the 3-part TMZ series that Jeremy Corbell worked on. And I think it shook them up. I don't think they really knew where to put it or how to digest it. And I think that is, for someone who's so interested and already had my ontological shock moment, it's easy to forget how big of a change this is. And for someone who's in their early 40s, I can't understand, I can't appreciate exactly how much more time someone in their 70s has had believing that this isn't real. And I think we have to be compassionate. And I think this is going to be an evolving discussion, and some people are not going to buy it until they see something themselves. But that's okay. And I think not everyone, it's tough because when I'm talking to people, and this is something I'm passionate about, and very rarely do I meet anybody who has any interest in talking about it, at least in my familial circles, you kind of have to accept it and talk about it in a way that opens them up to maybe the possibility. And I think that's as much as you can do. But it's a very interesting thought of what is disclosure and what's it going to take for society to broadly acknowledge that we are not alone. And I think part of that is mainstream media has been a ardent detractor and debunker and set up the context of making light and stigmatizing the topic. So there's a lot. It's a big ship to turn, and my fear is that this is going to be some catastrophic event will occur, and things will be sent into a tailspin as everyone's processing such a monumental shift in reality. I mean, think about it. The economy. How could that possibly survive? Right? Think about the stock market. People are going to pull out immediately. And that's concerning. But what do you do? Right? I can't go take my money out of... You can't stuff it under my mattress at this point. So you still have to live. And I think ultimately you have to kind of have faith in the world. You have to have faith in reality that things are going to be okay. Things that might seem disastrous or very negative in a broader context could be needed for something that's far more positive. So it's a very precarious place we're in a very peculiar time. And I think having this discussion openly is the important thing. And Lou Elizondo and others have certainly done that. And to be able to have the discussion with your friends, family, associates, whomever, shouldn't go unnoticed. That it's a tremendous paradigm shift. That alone. Here we are having hosts of the CBS morning show introduced Lou Elizondo without a snigger, without the X-Files music or anything like that. It was taken seriously. It was challenged, but that's to be expected. But it was taken seriously. And as these things progress, I mean, the fact that the Schumer amendment, the Schumer Rounds bill, was incredibly specific and left no room for debate that this is real. And while it got pushed back on and ultimately gutted, it still passed in a way. Parts of that made it through. And the fact that that is even possible is a gigantic win for transparency. And also, the fact that it really wasn't reported on in mainstream media at all is what we're up against, right? If that's not indicative of the manipulation that's happening here, I don't know what is. So these are the things that everyone's up against, that the topic is up against. These are the things that the topic is up against. In terms of keeping yourself on, solid ground and not getting lost in all these things, I think that's, this is a long-term situation. It's been many years before I've even been born in the works, and it's going to take longer. I can't expect to have everything happen overnight, but it's certainly happening, and I take comfort in that, and I'm excited for learning the truth. And you have to be open to where the myriad places that truth may come from. I don't expect that truth is going to come from the government necessarily, but all we can do is keep moving forward. Everyone, take care, give each other love, take care of each other, and talk to you next time.